Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back for another episode. So, got a bad hair day going on. We got welding helmet head going on. So we're back on the truck today. I've been working on the camper pretty much all week, and we'll probably do an update on that coming up soon. So we're getting pretty close on that thing. I've been working on the truck, and let me show you what we got going.
No, you're not bringing home another piece of junk.
Okay, so got that bracket all done and put some extra supports in there. I'll show you here in a minute. But got it welded in here. We're welded solid across there, solid down there, and on the back sides. I put a little support bracket there, and I put a little support bracket on the other side. And welded them both in solid. And I'm reasonably satisfied this thing is not going to move anywhere. You can see that other little angle bracket I got right there. So I think that's going to be good and stout. And I just took some old spray bomb paint I had down here and just kind of fogged everything down here. All right, so I got the column put together here, and we went ahead and knocked all the paint off this thing. I've got the new blinker switch in this thing because this old one, I broke this thing because I had to, when I was driving the bearing into that column, I wasn't thinking about this being the thing that supported the column head, so I had to order another one. It's probably a good deal anyway. This is, this one's pretty old. Thankfully, eBay still got them. And then I went ahead and I ended up having to cut like another 2 inches off the bottom of this column, and it wasn't square anyway, so I used my chop saw, got it square, drove a new bearing in there, and I'm a lot happier with that. So on the U-joint, I've got the set screw in. Remember, I had to cut that shaft and do a double D because it was just round. And then I just went around in 3 places and put a good tack weld on that shaft in addition to the set screw. Just want to make sure that thing does not come apart. And then I'll probably do the same on the bottom, on the box. Put set screw in, put it good and tight, a little Loctite on it, but then just go around like in 3 places, just put a little tack weld. If you ever would have to pull that joint out, not a big deal to take a zip cut and cut that off of there. So this looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. We're going to cut these plugs off there, and when we wire this thing, so I have to find a Corvair turn signal wiring diagram. Can't be too hard. All you got is a turn signal and a horn. There's no hazards or anything on this thing. Okay, so what we're going to do next is I want to go ahead and bolt this box in, steering box. And I want to remeasure for my drag length because if you remember, I counted the turns wrong and I had more turn radius on one side than the other. So I want to get that right. And then once that's right, then we can go ahead and bolt the brake pedal in permanent. We can bolt the column in permanent. And yeah, and that part will be done. So this has like been a lot of stuff in the last few videos trying to get all this right, but it's coming out good, and I'm pretty happy with it. So let me get the box bolted in, and we're going to remeasure this thing, redo the drag link, and see what we got. Okay, so I adjusted that drag link, and I still don't have much turning radius going to the right. So I was, and I corrected my measurement, but I was looking under here, and I think I got the problem. Right there, that wishbone is hitting the frame. So I am going to have to drop this and cut a notch in there so that this can have some more travel, which that shouldn't be that big of a deal. We'll just make a little slice in there and may have to I don't know if I have to box it in or not. We'll just have to see. But it's like it doesn't have to go much further. We're let's see if we pull this out. How much more we got in the box? We need to go right there. Ooh. And that is almost up against my bracket there. Alright, gonna have to do a little more, man, wouldn't you know it, right after I get that thing all welded in and ready to go too. So that's alright. We're just gonna have to make some adjustments. So back to the drawing board a little bit. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is, I don't know if you can see that mark. I'm gonna have to cut a notch here so that thing will swing over, and it's got to swing over a fair amount, a few inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that wishbone off there and notch that out. And then on the brake plate, I'm gonna have to notch this so this rod can travel up that far. And that should give me my travel I want. You know, sometimes it's like building something like this is a whole lot of fun, and sometimes it's like, ah, why did I ever start on this stupid piece of junk? You know, sell it all, build something else. But I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna finish it. All right, let me get that off, get this cut, and we'll see if we can get the travel we need out of it. All right, so not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I cut me a little notch there. That gave me plenty of travel for the arm. And that is like double thick there. I'm not even gonna worry about boxing that in. We cut such a small little piece out of it. But now you can see I'm all the way over, so it goes all the way to the right, and I've got a good turn radius going there. And of course I notched this out and turned out I didn't even need to, so I think I'll just notch out that little plug piece I cut out of there and just weld that back in, and then we'll go the other direction. It's that way. And good turning radius there. Whew, okay. That was mildly frustrating. Okay, so let me button this up, finish that welding in there, and I'm kind of thinking I'm going to go back to, I had that adjustable drag length there, but the problem is on it, these are the right, oops, this is the right diameter to go through there on the, I've got the tie rod set up off of the big van. But the problem is it's a lot longer here than that. So the nut won't tighten up on there by the time it bottoms out. So I think now that I know my radius is good, I'm just going to take that out and measure it and shorten this one and go with it, maybe. Still thinking about that, so. But anyway, so got a pretty good amount of stuff done here. Let me get that buttoned up, re-welded, get everything tightened back up, throw a wheel back on it. I think we're gonna eat some lunch and then we're going to come back out, and I want to get this column put back in where it's supposed to go. I want to make a little floor plate to go over that, just something that screws down. Make a little plate to go over that where the brake pedal is going to go, and finally we'll have this part of this wrapped up. This has been a multi-episode extravaganza to get all this working together right, but I think we finally got her. All right, back in a few. Okay, got her all together. I made a plate for the bottom of the column there. Everything's bolted in. Old blinker switch is working. It's good. Oh, also I got my lights put in. Got 4 of them babies. So much nicer in here. So anyway, we're turned all the way to the left. We got a good angle there. Turns pretty easy, one-handed. Probably because the weight is back there and not on the front axle. So go all that way, and a good turning radius there. So I'm pretty happy with it. If you pull on it, it's got a little bit of movement down there. So I am thinking I'm going to put like maybe a collar here and come off it with a rod there and a rod there, or here and here, and just kind of make a bottom support for that thing. Because you got a little back and forth play in that joint, but for the most part, I'm happy with it. Feels pretty good. I'm gonna call that done. I end up welding this piece back in here and just put a little notch for when this gets all the way to the top that we're good. So don't have the master cylinder in it yet. I did shoot a little paint on it, and little cast iron paint, put a rubber boot on it. So when I get around to where we're going to run the brake lines and all that, I'll bench bleed that and we'll stick that in here, but that's later. So okay, that's good. I think the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to get the transmission put in it, and I want to get a radiator ordered because I'd like to start focusing on getting towards starting this thing up. So you can see I need a fair amount of stuff to do it. I need a cooling system. I need a transmission in it. You know, need a carburetor on it. I got the old one over there, but I was thinking about getting one of those eBay Chinesium ones, and you know, just hoses and belt and wiring, and I mean, we can hot wire it to start it, but I'd kind of like to get focused on doing that. So bought myself a transmission jack from Amazon/Jegs. Just came in, haven't opened it yet, so I'll open this thing tomorrow or something. $199. So I didn't think that was too bad, but we'll get that open and I drag that transmission out, spray some degreaser on it, clean it up, and then really it's ready to go in and we're ready to make the mount. So I think we'll make that the next video. We'll get the tranny up in there and get the mount built for it. So that's probably next weekend, most likely. Okay, so I'm not sure how long this one was. Feels like it was kind of short, but we'll get a word from the Lord and we'll call it on this one. And thanks everybody for watching. Tell you what, before we call it quits, let's open this thing up and see what you get for $200. I've been borrowing my buddy's transmission jack for a long time, and it's like I really need to get one of my own. Ooh, it's yeller. Low profile jack, 1,000 pounds capacity. Oh man, they're gonna make me put the wheels on it. Why can't they ever just send something that's already put together? It looks heavy. Oh my gosh. gosh, it is heavy. Ugh. Is it heavy or is it caught something? Nope, it's both. It's heavy. Probably use it once every 3 years, but at least I got it. I'll probably use it more than that. Let's see what we got. All right. I like it. This is the cylinder thingy. Yeah. Got the angle thingy on it. Side angle and front and back angle. Rule. The handle do not come out. You just got to rotate it around. Let's see what these wheels look like. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff in here. Got your wheels, got your transmission ears, so don't slide off on you. I don't know if I'll use those or not. Stuck together. Yeah, may want them on there. Million bolts. Well, I like it. And I'm sure my buddy Bill likes it. I'm not borrowing his. So I'll shut this off and we'll what do we got here? Oh, look at them little El Cheezo Castle nuts. For what I'm using it for, I'm sure it'll be fine. I got metal wheels, no bearings. That's all right. All right, I'm gonna throw this together, then we'll get a word from the Lord. So thanks a lot for coming along on today's video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Hey, how's everybody doing? So appreciate you coming along on the video today, and I think we got a lot done out there. I mean, this is like what, third or fourth video on this whole steering brake system, so it's definitely been a challenge to get it done, but I think we're there, and I'm pretty confident, and I'm ready to move on to something else, as I'm sure the viewers are. So I want to talk a little bit about giving today. Not sure why I thought of this. There was a time in my life where I was not a faithful giver at church, and became convicted to do so through prayer. And I have to say it made a huge change in my spiritual walk with the Lord. I'm sure my wife would say the same thing. It's a decision we made together. For a long time I thought, well, I don't have the money to give 10%. When her and I first got together, we were not in great financial shape, and we just decided that we're going to make the commitment to do that, and we're going to let the Lord handle that. And suddenly, we started getting our financial situation together after we started giving and started giving obediently. So I just want to encourage everybody to do that. So the passage we're going to talk about is 2 Corinthians 9, and this is 6 through 8. And this is Paul talking to the church of Corinth about principles in giving. And he says, "So this I say, he who sows sparingly shall also reap sparingly. He who sows bountifully shall also reap bountifully. Let each one do just as he has proposed in his heart, not grudgingly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. And God is able to make all grace abound in you, that always having all sufficiency in everything, you may have an abundance for every good deed." And there's a little paragraph about that in this particular Bible. This is the Open Bible that I'm using today. And it says, "There is no better indicator of growth in your new life than in the area of giving. This passage deals with the attitude one should have in its giving. It should be cheerful. When giving is cheerful, it will also be generous. The important rule of thumb is not how much is given, but how much is left after giving. God is not primarily occupied with the amount of the gift, but with the motive that lies behind it. All the money in the world belongs to God. My gift to him does not make him any richer. It makes me spiritually richer because of the realization that everything I have is his, and that I'm giving because I love him and want to give, not because I have to give." And that was an attitude I had to work with. Initially I felt compelled to do it to be obedient, and then as time went on, we did it because we wanted to. The formula for giving is found in 1 Corinthians 16:2, where three principles can be seen. Number one, my giving is to be regular on the first day of every week. My giving is to be systematic. Let each one of you put aside and save. And number three, my giving is to be proportionate, as he may prosper. Failure to give of the money which God has given you can be a serious matter. The person who fails to honor God with his money actually robs God. Not because it impoverishes God, because it denies the God-ordained means of the support of his work and his ministers. For the child of God who honors God with his money, God promises abundant blessing and the provision of his every need. Giving then is a key to the growth of your new life. And I agree with that 100%. And I can remember when I was a young kid, and we were Catholic at the time, and my dad was a union bricklayer. I think he made pretty decent money, but it was a very the work wasn't that great in the winter, and sometimes in the early spring and late fall when the weather would turn, it was seasonal. That's the word I'm looking for. So and then they're unions, so sometimes they'd go on strike. But I do remember that my dad would always put the check in the collection basket at church. And when I was from a very young age, he would hand me the check and have me put the envelope in the collection basket at church. And I can remember, times where Dad wasn't working and things were really tight, and I can't remember exactly how I worded it, but I asked him one time. It's like, well, how can we still give money at church if we're in such, if we're poor, or whatever my young mind came up with. That's the question I asked, and I remember, my dad was not a guy who proselytized and preached a lot and talked about the Bible, but he did say, he said, that money belongs to God, and we have to give that to God, give back to God first. So that was a very good lesson that he taught me. So that's the message for today, and let's have a quick word of prayer, and we'll be done. Father, I just I thank you for the gift of being able to give back to you, that you prosper us, and you give us resources that we can use, and that I just ask those who may be struggling with this out there, that you would soften some hearts and convict them, that to be able to start giving back to you, and with the assurance that money given to you is spent towards furthering your kingdom. And we just ask this in the name of your precious Son, Jesus. Amen. Okay, so hit like, hit subscribe. Make sure you go to church tomorrow. Make sure you drop that offering in the basket tomorrow, or however your church does your giving. And I will leave a comment, and I'll catch you on the next one.